This one from Dawg Pound Daily. 3 players to watch in Week 15 versus the Chiefs. Number 1, they go Jameis Winston. Kansas City has allowed almost 66% completion percentage and 227.6 yards per game through the air this season. Number 2, Nick Chubb. Chiefs allow third fewest yards per game on the ground, 88.3, and the second fewest per carry, 3.8. Number 3, Elijah Moore, 31 receptions, 345 yards, and a touchdown with Jameis Winston as quarterback. Casey, we've talked a lot about Jerry Jeudy. Elijah Moore is another guy that it's like, this is what they liked about this guy since Jameis Winston started taking over. It's unfortunate that Tillman had the concussion because are we going to see, he's a big-bodied guy, is he a guy that can get vertical as well? We don't know because we had Deshaun Watson playing quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I'd say out of all the guys, Elijah Moore has the most on the table because he's not under contract next year. So these 4 games are incredibly crucial for him, and that starts this week. So yeah, this is your time to make a case. He's looked really good as a vertical guy, as a guy who's more down the field and not playing the gadget slot stuff. He can do those things, but I think he's much better down the field, and he likes to get loose on the second level. And with a quarterback that pushes vertically, you kind of get to see that. So when we talked about it, with Deshaun, we didn't know what we had. I couldn't even evaluate some of these positions. With Jameis, however you feel about his propensity to turn the ball over, his aggressiveness allows you to actually evaluate these players. So if you're Elijah Moore, if you need to put on a show, because we know that Judy's going to be here, we know that Tillman's going to be here, and we know there's a likelihood that they probably draft another guy, and with Jamari Thrash already kind of in the waiting, you could be pushed out unless you make the case for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. So Elijah Moore needs to really put on a show over these last 4 games. Nick Chubb being on that list, I highly doubt this is the week that all of a sudden the running game takes off. He might give you glimpses. You saw it last week with a 20-yard scamper, showing you the vision, the elusiveness, but it's come in small doses. It's probably something similar. He's had only 1 game where he's averaged 4 yards a carry. Everything else has been 3 or less. And the Chiefs are stout right there, especially with their defensive tackle, Chris Jones. Like that guy's a menace, and he can ruin your day. They got good linebackers, and I really feel strongly that this is probably going to turn into what we've seen these last few weeks. This is going to end up being a pass-heavy game. You'll probably try to run it at first. When that fails, you're going to do exactly what you've been doing and probably drop back 50-plus times. So I don't know how much of a factor Nick Chubb will truly play this Sunday.
Yeah, and the bottom line, I truly believe this. If they were able to run the ball more effectively, the turnovers for Jameis Winston would go down significantly.
Yeah, it's overexposure. It's one thing to be passing in a 50-50 proposition, but when they know you have to throw it, and they know, and especially when you're down and you have to get chunk plays, it's so easy to play over the top and look for those overthrows, those tips, and kind of put guys in position to turn the ball over. And I'm not trying to make apologies for Jameis Winston. I mean, he needs to cut down on his interceptions, and there's some of those throws I can defend or decisions I can defend, but I can't defend pick sixes. That's where it becomes that's too much of a detriment to overcome. But it's definitely when you're playing in that style, and if you were just to look across the league, Jameis has a 3.3 interception rate. The players that are in front of him, Jordan Love 3.4, Kirk Cousins 3.4. These are playoff teams. But when I look at overall, the just in general, I need 2 touchdowns to every interception. That's the metric. If you're less than that, you are 100% replaceable. 3-1 is elite, but 2-1, you can win games. And you see it across the league, even people pining for Baker Mayfield. He's throwing 3% of his throws get intercepted. But the difference is those guys aren't dropping back 60 times a game. When you start getting that territory, you're going to start to rack up those picks. So it's about playing even. And if you can run the football and make things look like the runs, even when their passes, those play actions hit better and you're able to gash teams. But when they know you're going to throw the ball and you have to draw back 60 times just to keep yourself in the game, those mistakes are going to come.